This video marks the 30th keyboard review I've conducted on this channel. Now that may sound like a lot, but I've probably had close to twice that number actually pass through the studio. I obviously don't make a review on every single one. I've seen every layout from full size down to one-handed, wired and wireless, and all the most popular switch types, and every implementation of RGB lighting imaginable. I have a personal affinity for compact designs and have made many recommendations for keyboards in this category. Specifically, I have consistently recommended the Caliber series by Drevo as an attractive option. However, I think I just may have a new favorite. Development of the Keychron K2 began all the way back in May of 2018. It was conceived by a small group of dedicated keyboard enthusiasts, and its progression was followed very closely by the lively mechanical keyboard community. By April of 2019, the board launched on Kickstarter and quickly became the most successful crowd-funded keyboard ever. The general consensus given by the K2 customer base is that the board largely managed to live up to the hype. However, it was not without its shortcomings. Keychron responded quickly by developing a version 2, like I have here. This wireless mechanical keyboard starts at just $69 for the plastic frame, ABS keycap, non-RGB version. PBT keycaps are available at a $5 premium, RGB lighting is a $10 extra, and aluminum frame adds $20. Alternatively, you can get your K2 fully loaded for just $99. For comparison, the base Keychron K2 is about $10 more expensive than the aforementioned Drevo Caliber. However, I believe the K2 more than makes up for that relatively small discrepancy, as you'll see in just a moment. Regardless, any product we mention in this video will be linked to our affiliate accounts down below. The board is simple and elegant with no wasted space between any of the keys, and virtually no bezel on the version with the plastic shell. The layout is basically a 75% board with a few minor tweaks. Most boards this size have 81 to 83 keys, but the K2 manages to squeeze 84 switches onto its diminutive frame. The delete key and the alt, function, and control keys to the right of the spacebar are only 1 unit wide. With these adjustments, the K2 has room for a dedicated lighting key in the top right corner. As far as I can tell, the shell only comes in black even if you opt for the aluminum edition. Originally, the board was significantly thicker than it is now and had no incline. The front of the new shell has now been tapered to provide a more comfortable typing experience. There were many small changes made to this second version, but the new shell is probably the most significant. The thinner body does not appear to have compromised the rigidity of the board, as it still feels incredibly sturdy. The standard ABS keycaps are only offered in this neutral grayscale configuration, but bright orange accents are included in the box. The PBT version gives you the option of either blue-gray or brown-gray keycaps, and there's also a set of white keycaps that are sold separately with icons and phrases that are sure to delight Mac users specifically. Speaking of Mac users, the K2 officially supports Mac, PC, iOS, and Android, and unofficially works with Linux. They have a group over on Facebook dedicated to supporting this board on Linux. Included in the box are keycaps to complement your operating system of choice. The board can connect to 3 devices at once and can easily toggle between them using the first 3 number keys. But keep in mind, if switching between Mac and PC, you'll need to flip that OS switch on the left side of the board. Next to that switch, you'll find another toggle for changing the method of connectivity. It connects wirelessly via Bluetooth, but now uses the Bluetooth 5.1 protocol, another upgrade over the previous version. When in wired mode, the keyboard connects using an included right-angle USB-C cable. This non-RGB edition of the board boasts an impressive 17 different lighting effects. With the soft white glow around most of the keys, the caps lock now turns red when activated. The standard keycaps are not double shot, but have a quality look and feel to them. Underneath these keycaps, you'll find Gatoron brown switches, but reds and blues are also available. According to Keychron, the massive 4,000 mAh internal battery is good for about 72 hours of typing. That equates to roughly 9 days of use at 8 hours of consistent use per day. When the keyboard is active and the battery life is under 15%, a red light will blink next to the charging port. Other than this subtle indicator, there's no other way I've seen to check the battery life. Once depleted, a full charge can be expected in about 3 hours. The battery light will turn static red to indicate that it's charging, and then turn static green when it's fully charged. That kind of longevity out of a backlit wireless mechanical keyboard is no small feat. These, however, are small feet. There are 2 pairs of feet that can be found underneath the keyboard if a more aggressive incline is desired. The small feet tilt the board ever so slightly toward the user, while the large feet angle the board up an additional 9 degrees. The design of the Keychron K2 is sharp, simple, and timeless. The lighting effects are also impressive considering there's no RGB to speak of on the base model. Personally, I don't think RGB complements the board very well, but I understand it's basically required now for companies to at least offer it. In my experience, the battery lasted more than a week of very heavy use, and that's pretty much right in line with their estimations. Whether it was doing homework, writing scripts, or playing Doom, the K2 managed to keep up with me very well. While I still had occasional connection or latency issues, the wireless experience was far better than most of my previous interactions with Bluetooth keyboards. Typing with these Gateron Browns was a satisfying experience, and these are some of the best feeling ABS keycaps I've ever used. Although they're just painted ABS, the caps resist finger oils and residue reasonably well. I'm also a really big fan of the typeface Keychron decided to use. The font is small but clean and legible. With the backlight off, the transparent legends are plainly visible and almost look like they've been printed onto the keys. I've used keyboards in the past whose legends are all but invisible when the backlight is on. The only concern I have with these painted ABS keycaps is longevity, but thankfully, replacement keycaps should be relatively easy to find should you ever need them. There is not currently any software available for the K2 to customize lighting effects, set macros, or remap keys. Some of these functions can be achieved by using Carabiner for Mac or Sharp keys for Windows. Keychron is actively developing their own software and expects it to be available sometime later this year. The only real issue I have with this board is the cable. It's way too short, and the connector placed on the left side of the board complicates things if you want to buy a replacement. Considering the majority of PC enthusiasts have their computers to their right, the decision to place the connector on the left is certainly a curious one. But if you remember to plug in the keyboard every once in a while when you're not using it, then that shouldn't really be an issue. While I've often said that my favorite keyboard layout is 65%, Keychron really has me rethinking that position. Subjectively, I still think functionless keyboards look the best, but I just can't argue against the practicality of having a function row or full suite of media controls at your fingertips. While the latency and reliability of the Bluetooth 5.1 connection was sufficient for my needs, you may want to consider keeping it plugged in during those long competitive gaming sessions to ensure a consistent experience. However, depending on your setup, that could prove to be difficult using the cable provided by Keychron. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with the K2, and for now it has earned a permanent place on my desk, until I find something I like more. Links to all the devices discussed today can be found below that like button, and I've also included a link to a longer right-angle USB-C cable that should work fine with this device. Down there you'll also find links to our shirts, our Amazon storefront, and our giveaways. Right now we're doing a giveaway for a Whirlwind FX Element keyboard, a device with RGB lighting that reacts to your gameplay. If you want to watch that review or others that may interest you, then check out our videos over here, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when our newest content is ready to watch. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.